Hi, and welcome to How It Works. I am here today with John. Say hello to everybody, John.
Hi, my name is John Andreas. I represent Soil and Crop. We are an independent fertilizer fertility company in Lindsay, California. How you doing, Jason?
Good, good. Thanks for being with us today on the show. So today we're talking a little bit about mycorrhizae. So let's jump right into it, John. Why mycorrhizae?
And my response is why not? There's a lot of really good reasons, a lot more than we can talk about in just a few minutes. But to just talk about the basics of why mycorrhizae is beneficial, number one, nature intended it. When it comes right down to it, if you want to grow a healthy plant with a healthy root system, let's go back and look at how nature does it. And nature associates mycorrhizae with plants in any kind of nature. You'll find it on 95% of all plants. And there's a couple different types of mycorrhizae. That part doesn't matter. But what is important is that roots do not function at optimal levels. They are not able to extract nutrients from the soil. They are not able to access water as well, and they don't interact with soil biological properties as well without mycorrhizae in place. The most dramatic things you will see with mycorrhizae obviously are always in tougher soils. If you have salinity issues, heavy clay, heavy sand, any of these soils that are going to give you extreme conditions, the mycorrhizae goes a long way toward evening the playing field, if you would. The other beauty about mycorrhizae, and this is the most simple bottom line, is that for a permanent crop, it's a one-time application for the life of the plant, the tree, the vine. And an investment, a one-time investment that keeps on giving returns for generations in some cases. So you do need to consider the type of crop, the variety, from the standpoint that there are a few things that do not associate with mycorrhizae. One, in the way of permanent crops, pretty much the one thing we have run into is that if you have paradox rootstock on walnuts, don't bother trying to use mycorrhizae. We have found that there's something about the genetic breeding of that rootstock. It has lost its affinity for associating with the mycorrhizal organism. Otherwise, almonds, pistachios, black walnut rootstocks, grapevines, olives, pretty much every other type of fruit tree that you can imagine associate very nicely. Without getting into a huge amount of teaching, nor without having posters in front of me, here's what it looks like. Mycorrhizae allows the roots to access nutrients in the soil. When you're talking about minerals in particular, many minerals are in forms that are bound up, in which case they are unavailable to the root without being accessed by some type of a biological connection, whether it's bacteria consuming and releasing it to the plant. When you drop mycorrhizae into this mix, mycorrhizae becomes the extension of the root. It has the ability to mine minerals, to strip apart compounds that are bound up literally in rock form, and in doing so, access nutrients that are totally unavailable. The same with water. Most of your water, when you start getting into a dry soil condition, you will find that water molecules are in areas that the root cannot even access, but the mycorrhizae can. The mycorrhizae, its body structures as it connects to the root, it's much finer. You can't even see it with a naked eye. And so these microfilaments, these hyphae of the plant, are able to slip into soil areas where roots can't even go. Mycorrhizae also stores water in its body structures. So when water does become short, or depending on the soil conditions, it will allow for an additional storage of water to be released to the plant when needed. Makes your fertilizer more efficient. Anytime you're applying NPK fertilizers, other mineral solutions perhaps, all of these types of elements are made more efficient. Oftentimes, the beginning of our programs with mycorrhizae in play will allow for up to a 30% immediate reduction in nitrogen inputs. Significant dollar value return because of the use of the product. And then finally, there is an amazing association by mycorrhizal inoculation association with the plant root, and how those roots interact with beneficial organisms in the soil. The bacteria that you find in the soil, beneficial bacteria that want to exchange nutrients with the roots, are actually enhanced and expanded in sheer number by the association with the mycorrhizae. There is a stimulation and exchange of nutrient and food that goes back and forth in the process of feeding the plant. So all of these benefits, enhance the health of the plant, the strength of the root system, the overall health of the tree. And then finally, mycorrhizae actually will begin to make beneficial changes to the soil profile to benefit the host plant. It deposits carbons and long-lasting complex carbon molecules that will not only stimulate beneficial organisms, but that will also allow for better water penetration, better water holding capacities. The mycorrhizae can begin to influence pH of soil to a more normal range, whether from a high or low position, will begin to move it to a more normal range to benefit the plant. Just several of many long-term benefits to the use of the product. As soon as you can. So let's talk about how to apply it. Permanent crops. If you have existing trees, vines, doesn't matter if they're a year old or 10 years old, if you have many years of use yet out of that orchard or vineyard, the time is now. Apply mycorrhizae. I mean, it can be applied through most micro sprinkler systems, drip systems. It can be injected with fertilizer solutions. The trick is getting it to the roots. The product comes in several forms that are spores of the product, or the live seeds of the mycorrhizae, if you would. But the important thing is getting it close to you have to get it into the soil profile a little bit, whether by following water or perhaps a spread. If you are planting a new orchard, the spores can be sprayed onto bare root plantings. It can be drenched into transplant pots. It can be used in growing nurseries if you are growing bedding plants or other transplants for the field. It can be drenched that way or integrated into the planting media. The important thing is to make use of the mycorrhizae. It's got to go on now. And I say now, any time of year. The reason being, if you have an existing orchard, you have a massive root system. And it takes a while in an existing orchard for that colonization to take place. If you have a brand new planting, perfect time to do it. And if you have seeded crops, there's also ways to dust seed, add it to the planting hopper, broadcast it with alfalfa seed. There's a lot of different ways the mycorrhizae can be integrated into planting situations. Because it's such a unique product with a lot of different ways to use it, firsthand is good. I mean, it'd be important to call us and talk to us. because depending on the circumstances, it depends which form of the product you use. Call us 559-564-1236. Between Soil and Crop and our parent company, Natural Resources Group, we've got numerous people here that can be of service, can help you with recommendations on how to apply it, what type of product, what that cost is going to look like. And we will also leave some additional contact information at the end of this video for you. Just mycorrhizae in particular, if you're going to do any one thing, you can only afford one extra little thing this year. Mycorrhizae is the thing to do, because it is the gift that'll keep on giving, and you will not regret your investment in that product.
Well, thank you so much for your time, John. This is John Andreas with Soil and Crop, and the team at Soil and Crop pride themselves at putting nature to work. So we appreciate your insights there, John, and
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
It's a pleasure. Take care.
This is Jason Scott reporting for My Ag Life.